The ingredients that I think should go into a wireless ordinance are the ones that are specific for that community's needs. Not next door, not 5,000 miles away, not a 300-page ordinance that was written by a consultant for the purpose of getting them work later on, but actually facts that are relevant to that community. I'm an advocate for bringing in the wireless industry into the process during the early drafting stages, so that that ordinance, which affects you particularly, is an ordinance that you have had input into during the process. If you just plonk down an ordinance and say, here it is, it's going to be tough for the community to understand the basis of it. The reason why I can't tell you what makes a good wireless ordinance is for all of the reasons that make it. They're all the local issues. Wireless ordinances are local. Now, I know that the industry would be very happy in having statewide regulation, to setting a statewide setting for this, but the reality is that all land use is local.
Probably most important part of a wireless ordinance, and this can be written or not written, but you need to be working with a community who believes that having wireless service in the community is a good thing. And that it's a good thing not just for one provider, but it's a good thing for multiple providers. And if you don't start out with that as your baseline, then I think really the ordinance is just doomed. Cities to go in with that mindset, then I think you're going to have a good wireless ordinance, because then it's trying to figure out how to have something that everybody agrees should be there and do it in the way that's the least intrusive and the most respectful of local values. And so I think if a wireless ordinance is serious about encouraging that use, it should be easier, faster, cheaper to build sites using existing structures. So you have to develop an ordinance that actually gives people that incentive.
The overwhelming number of these ordinance rewrites are coming about because there's been some sort of unhappiness or event resulting from one of us as a wireless provider building a new facility and causing some unhappiness in particular neighborhoods. Today's neighborhood opposition is tomorrow's ordinance rewrite. And we have to do everything we can to make sure we put our facilities and applications through the zoning process with the cooperation of the neighborhood, with the understanding of the council, and create an environment where everyone is looking for permit approval. So we need to, as an industry, learn how wireless works. We need to understand the core issues, whether it's RF emissions, whether it's local impacts on property values, and we need to be able to communicate a positive message about siting. I encourage you to be active and work with the community and with your local leaders. And then I think the ordinance process will improve itself.
One of the keys to really kind of administering what I feel is a good wireless ordinance is having, I think, the planning staff really understanding it, doing the objective analysis and putting the report out there or the permit out there to the community and to the decision makers, so that there's little emotion involved in the decision. Because some of these do go to our planning commissioners, we routinely hold study sessions and we educate our planning commission on the policies, the regulations, as well as the legislation that affects how or what areas we can really step in and regulate. The real key to administering an ordinance, and in the case of San Jose, I think we have a good ordinance, is listening to the community, the wireless community, understanding what their needs are, educating them on what the city's goal is. We very much work to facilitate this sort of technology in the city of San Jose.
one way to get a good wireless ordinance at the end of the day is to participate in that process. And it's an educational process. It looks at what is it that we want from a what is it that this particular city wants from a wireless? And then how do we roll that out? How do we implement that? Because there are both general policies and implementing policies. So if you have a city that talks about in their policies, how to cite wireless, it would be beneficial, I think, for everyone, both the cities, the citizens, and the wireless industry, to be part of that discussion at the policy level. So I would just continue to encourage dialogue, education, and participation early in the process, because I think if you can participate early in the process and people get to know what you do, know how it works, and you don't oversell it, that then people understand how things need to get cited, and they will work through that, and it will be a better process and therefore a smoother process.